What's up you guys, Sasha here, and today I wanted to talk to you about what you should do if you want to take the first step towards getting out of debt. I'm going to take you through a few quite interesting ways of thinking about it. If you don't know how to start, you have mountains of credit cards, loans, other kinds of debt, and you're just not sure what to do with it, I'll take you through step by step, one thing at a time, how you can get started on your journey to becoming debt-free, towards improving your financial well-being, and towards getting a positive change for your family. The main thing that will help you more than anything else you're going to do is to form a plan, get a budget, and make a monthly forecast of exactly what you're going to do. Now, the way to start this is to do this. First, go and open Excel. If you don't have Excel, get the open Office version. If you don't want to do that, go and log into your Google account and hit Sheets in the top right hand menu. If you don't have a Google account, create a Google account. It's free. It takes about a minute. You'll be able to create a spreadsheet in order to track this and manage it over time. In the spreadsheet, create a simple table which has dates down the left-hand side. These are the dates within each of the months on which the particular kind of expenditure happens, and then have an out column and an in column. In the out column, record all the different costs as they happen. So everything that you see on your credit card statements, on your current account statements, go and look through the last few months worth of those statements and just write down exactly what's coming out, especially all the recurring transactions. So any subscriptions you have, any regular bill payments, anything you pay in terms of tax, anything you pay in terms of council tax payments, all of those things, make sure they're in there. Make sure you stick your monthly credit card loan repayments in there as well. You want to add every single piece of expenditure that you do. Next, go and add any regular totals that you have on things like food shopping, petrol, other forms of transport, any kind of not specific monthly recurring fees, but things that you generally spend every month, and try to be as accurate as possible with how much you on average spend on those things. I'm not talking about restaurants, takeaways, those kind of things. I'm talking just basic standard food, transport to get to and from work, that sort of thing. Next, go and add in whatever your earnings, salary are, any money coming in, into the second column. So make sure you check what date you get paid so that this adds up, and so that you can then use it more effectively down the line as you expand this tool. And just write in what you get after tax, after all deductions, after your pension contribution, after everything that comes out of your account, how much money actually lands in your account. Remember, we're not doing something fancy here. We're just doing a basic cash flow forecast. We're trying to figure out exactly how much cash comes in and leaves your account. Next, go and have a look at the various things that you've just written down in terms of your costs and money coming in, and just check, are any of those things going to change in the next few months? So is there something new that you've signed up to that hasn't started billing you yet? Have you received a notification that the price of something you already subscribed to is going to go up? Or is something about to drop off? So like, has your child been in childcare and is about to go to school? Okay, well, you need to adjust for that. So just keep in mind what changes are about to come. Once you have made the two columns, go and add them up at the bottom. So you should have the total outgoings and then the total incomings into your account, and go and compare them. Now, hopefully your incomings are slightly greater than your outgoings, and if they are, then you have that delta to play with. We'll cover that in a short while. If they're not, you need to urgently do something about it, and that's part of this first step. And the two things you can do to make it really simple are, you can either reduce the first column B and make it a lower number so that your costs are lower, or you can increase column C. Now, to reduce column B, just go through all the different subscriptions you have and just be extremely ruthless in determining what do you really not need. What can you get away with without paying in order to bring your financial position into a better state. Now, I know it's nice to have the Sky subscription that has movies and sports and everything else and multi-room and HD and whatever else, but can you find 50 or 60 pounds saving by chopping that down just a bit? I'm not saying get rid of it completely, but just taking some of the elements out, you probably could. Are you overpaying on some of your bills? Like, have you recently gone and done a check on whether you can get a much better broadband deal? Even if you keep exactly the same provider, but signing up for a fresh deal versus having one that you signed up for a few years ago can be a big saving. Can you just cut some things out? Have you got some magazine subscriptions that you don't really read and they go into a pile? Is there something else that you can just cut and find that £20 saving? You should go and do it. Those things can add up really quickly and make a massive difference. If you want to increase your incomings, it might seem extremely daunting. You have a job, you have a fixed salary. What else can you do? But there's only really 3 things that you can do. Thing number 1, and that sounds the most difficult and the most daunting, but you could go and have a look to see if you can change your job. Very, very frequently, people just stay in the same job for years and years and years. They get small increases every year. If you don't ever jump between different jobs, it may be very, very difficult to get a substantial pay rise. If you're really needing it and you need it to get out of debt, you need to pay down whatever it is that you owe to people, you might have to take that jump. And you know what? Quite often when you do make that jump, you find out the grass can be greener on the other side, and the process is nowhere near as difficult as it might seem. Go on the various job boards, they're all free to join. Go on LinkedIn, create a profile, do all that. Go and have a look at what's available. You might be surprised to find that you can get a 20-30% uplift, sometimes even higher, by applying for a job that you're perfectly qualified for, somebody else looking. Right now, you weren't aware of that, but if you go and look, you might just find that thing. Now, if you don't want to do that, if you're happy to stay in your job, there's 2 other things you can do. Number 1, try to get a second job if your current one allows. So if you're currently part-time and you do have the time to do something else, or you're able to do something on weekends if you're working during the week, just consider it. It might not seem like a lot, but even if you earn 100, 200, 300 pounds a month by doing a small second job, some kind of part-time thing, or something you do in the evenings for an hour or 2 here and there, you can find that suddenly that £300 changes completely your financial situation and your budget over that month. If that doesn't sound like something you want to do, figure out if you want to do some kind of side hustle, which isn't necessarily a fixed job and it's not going to generate revenue in the short term, but may be able to generate some kind of income over the long term. So different things work for different people. Figure out if there's something that you can make and then sell online on eBay, on Amazon, whatever it is. Figure out if there's something that you can do in terms of creating content and trying to grow a blog, trying to grow YouTube. There are millions of different ways that you can gradually build up a side hustle. Have a think about whether something like that appeals and something like that is something you'd consider doing. Those are all great avenues for growing a steady stream of income over time. And the next step is to go create a second tab and just list all the current debts that you have in a little table. Any credit cards, any loans, hire purchases, mortgages, any other form like store credit, whatever it is that you still owe to somebody, write it down. Write down what it is, who it's with, the provider, what the amount outstanding on it is, what the APR is, and to put any notes down. So if something has a 0% deal, write down when that deal ends. If there's anything else you need to know, make a little comment. Make a little table, tot it up, that's the total amount you have outstanding. That might seem again scary to do, but it's super important that you do it in order to get on that journey to get out of debt. Next, go and create a priority table below where you take that table above and sort it by what you should be paying off first based on the APR. Now, it's very, very simple. If you have any surplus cash, you should always go for repaying the highest interest debt first, except for circumstances where you have some kind of promotional deal which is about to expire and the rate you're going to go to is going to be that highest rate. So if you have several different credit cards, loans, etc., and one of those credit cards has a higher interest rate than all the others, that is definitely the credit card you should begin paying off first. The quicker you pay off the higher interest credit cards, the quicker you'll be able to repay the total debt, because you'll begin reducing the total amount of money you're throwing away every month on paying interest. Even if the balance is greater on a different card, or it might seem easier to pay something because it is a faster process, absolutely go for the highest interest and clear that one first. If you can't do that, or if you're already doing that, consider doing a few other things. So for example, if you have some debts, like some loans or old credit cards that are on high APRs, see if you can consolidate them into a much lower APR loan. So quite often some of the lower size loans, so if you have a loan for like say £1,000 to £5,000, the APRs on them can be quite high, they can be over 20%. If you have a few of them and you take one loan which will be in the sort of £10,000-15,000 range, most banks will offer you considerably lower interest rates for the same level of credit score and risk. And you can take that, repay all your other loans, and then have one loan outstanding which you're only paying 4% APR on, rather than having 3 or 4 smaller ones that you're paying 25% APR on. Another trick that you can do is take a credit card that has a 0% money transfer offer on it. What you can then do is get the credit card, send money to your current account, repay the debts with that money, and then you're repaying the money transfer. Now there will be a fee associated, and that ranges between, it's normally 3%, sometimes it's 4 or 5%, but even that over a say 2-year 0% deal, if you can get it, is still much cheaper. Go to Money Supermarket or one of the other comparison websites, check if you're eligible for a money transfer credit card that has a 2-year term or longer. If you are going to get it, the average rate on that is going to be lower than even a consolidation loan. It's definitely worth doing for the next 2 years. They'll get you repaying your debt faster. If you can't get a money transfer credit card, the next step is to check if you can get a 0% purchase credit card. Now these can have longer terms, so you can have as high as 30 months or even longer in some cases. And what they allow you to do is you can go to shops and you can spend on this credit card, and for the first 2.5 years, sometimes less, sometimes more, you won't have to pay any interest on that balance, and all you have to do is make the minimum monthly repayments to keep the balance in good standing. The reason you might want to do that is that then the monthly amount you spend on all your regular bills, shopping, petrol, all of those things, instead of them coming right out of your budget that you just created, you can essentially borrow that money at 0% with no fees associated, so it's genuine 0% borrowing, and use the money you would have spent on that towards repaying your debt. Now you have to be extremely regimented and extremely careful, because it's very easy to build up a debt and then not use the money that you're saving for the right thing. You have to make sure that the money you would have spent in those shops and in that supermarket, you go and repay those loans and those other credit cards. Otherwise, you're just wasting your own time, and it's going to end up badly. So make sure you form a very specific plan. The exact amount that you're spending on the 0% card, you have to make at least that in terms of repayments towards your debts. Now, the next thing to do as part of that first step is every time you spend, just be that little bit more vigilant and watch your money. So make sure that when you're spending money, you're just thinking, do I really need to spend it? Is this the best way that I can buy this thing? Can I get it for a cheaper price elsewhere? Is this an impulsive purchase? Can I get away without making that purchase and still be alright? In that case, you just save that amount of money, you can put it towards repaying your debt. If you don't frequently check your bank balance, if you don't frequently manage your online accounts, get into the habit of doing so. Make sure you go and log in at least once a month. Sometimes it's better to do it two times a month, or even more frequently if you want to be on top of it. Check your credit card balances, check the different things you're being charged, check if anything is coming out that shouldn't be coming out. Stay on top of it. If it is, make sure you update your budget with the more up-to-date numbers. Make sure you stay on top of your outgoings, your incomings, and what the delta is. If you do find you have a delta, a lot of people will tell you, hey, you should put that into savings because savings are great. The problem is savings are great if you don't also carry debt. And while you have debt, financially it is a much better position to go and try to clear that debt while you can, in order to bring that number down. Debt, if you don't touch it, continues accruing interest and growing over time, which savings don't really happen to do anywhere near as much, especially in the current environment. So you're much better off clearing your debt. The beauty of the situation is that if you suddenly need to find some extra cash, you can always go and grow that debt back up because you've been repaying it. If you put money into savings, that debt is going to continue growing and you're not going to make a dent in repaying it back. So clear your debt, get on top of repaying the debt first. Once you've cleared all the interest-bearing debt and maybe you only have some 0% deals going that you know you'll be able to repay within their term, then you can think about savings, investments, other kind of things. First, you need to get rid of the stuff that is costing you every month, money that you're just throwing away. That's all I've got. The first step to clearing your debt and getting out of the problems that you're currently in is to make a plan, get in control, make a budget, make sure you have everything written down in a simple spreadsheet and track it. And make sure you continue doing that over time, and you'll find that suddenly you feel considerably more in control. The numbers might be scary when you first write them down, but once you know what they are, once you're managing them, you can see that over time they are reducing. You will be able to feel considerably better about it and make those small steps one at a time towards clearing your debt. I hope you guys found that useful. If you have, please subscribe, please hit the bell so that you get notifications whenever new videos come out. I'm going to be releasing 3 videos a week. They're going to be coming out on a Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Make sure you leave a comment if you have any questions. I'll answer any genuine questions, any interesting points people make below. And I will see you in the next video.